Hi, Simone. How you feeling today?
Pretty good, pretty pumped about the HTC Vive, which just came out today, so we can finally talk about all the cool stuff that's happening with it.
And this is a game called oh god, I can't even remember.
It's the Gallery Episode 1 Call of the Starseed, which is so much better than the name makes it sound.
It's a long name. This is Episode 1. It is an episodic game. You are on the beach. I've played this demo through to completion. I love the scene that we're seeing right now. There's nothing you need to do right now.
There's so much stuff to interact with, and that's the thing I love about this. You know, in regular puzzle games, you can interact with stuff, but it's so different in the HTC Vive when you're literally bending over and picking things up and turning them around and really looking at them and feeling them. So that's what I really loved about this scene. It's really getting you into how you're going to be interacting with the environment throughout the whole episode.
And it's so hard to describe it to people who haven't used a Vive, that when you're picking up the firework, you are reaching down with your hand. You are crouching by moving your knees and your hips in your body and picking things up from the ground and aiming them at the fire. Like you're doing all these things. Like it actually does give you a pretty effective illusion of being there.
Especially when you're interacting with objects that you would interact with in real life, like opening a box, like that action. And even like picking up, there was a frying pan that I picked up in one scene, and setting it down on the stove, it had this metallic clang, and you see it stop moving, and so your brain kind of makes you feel that action of putting down a frying pan, and it's really cool.
And it's funny, we saw for a second there, we saw the inventory system, which you literally reach behind your back and you pull out your backpack, and you can look into your backpack and see all of these items you have in the game, and then you physically point to what you want and pull it out.
And it makes this really satisfying zipper noise, which we need to talk more about zippers in video games.
But that's one of the things I like about the Vive, is that all of these interactions that seem very basic in video, like putting the flares into the flare gun and aiming the flares when you shoot them, it feels so satisfying in virtual reality, and you have to aim and actually physically do these things. And I think even watching it, if you played this on a screen, I would almost argue a lot of it would probably be boring.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And like I said, you know, just interacting with a frying pan was thrilling for me. Picking up this candle and shining the light on the page so that I could read the words was such a cool thing to realize that I needed to do that I needed to, like, grab the candle and hold it to the paper. It's just so good.
it's funny to me. It's funny to me that you didn't. Like, the first thing I did when I found the note in the candle is that I tried to burn the note.
I tried to do that too, actually, after I read it. It did not work, spoilers.
No, you can!
You can?
You have to hold it for longer than you think. Longer than you would think you would have to get a piece of paper to light a flame. But you can. I played earlier versions of the build where I could not do that. And it's the dumbest detail, and I was sitting here going, you know what? They finally added the fact that I can set this on fire. They've finally made a good game.
They must have been getting feedback from people being like, I'm trying to light paper on fire, and that needs to be in the game. That's
what was holding it back. These beautiful, detailed, wondrous environments were all for naught until I could set something on fire.
You just gotta. The thing I like about this, you know, it's a puzzle game where you're interacting with stuff in the environment, and that's something we've seen a lot before, but the fact that it's in VR kind of brings it to this level where you feel childlike wonder as you're interacting with this stuff, just because it feels so different from any other puzzle game that you've played in 2D.
And there is that aspect of VR in general, and Vive in particular, where I think there's this really nice sense of play to it. So this freaking the puzzle you're seeing right now, with the voltages and the little things that you have to put in. I crouched over the machine for that puzzle for probably, I'm not a smart man. It probably took me over an hour to solve that puzzle.
Gosh.
And my back got tired, and I sat down in the game and like and composed my thoughts. I was like looking around. There's hints. There's hints in the audio tapes. There's hints in objects around you. So I literally sat down on my physical floor that was mapped to the virtual floor and started going through the backpack looking for clues.
Oh, that is so cool.
Before I finally figured it out.
Wow.
Yeah, it was super cool.
Even when I was making this video, there was a puzzle I couldn't solve, and then I was looking through the footage, and I was like, there it is. The clue is literally right in front of my face. That's what you get for playing puzzle games when you're really tired, Simone.
So there was a brief shot earlier where and we're doing a combination of capture and B-roll because I think doing straight gameplay almost ruins a lot of this game.
Well, because so much of it is exploring, and for you, like, not being in my shoes, you don't know what I'm thinking when I'm picking up, you know, that rock and throwing the starfish into the sea. Anyway, sorry, go on. You're going to talk about the tent.
When you saw the tent, did you crawl into the tent?
I did not. I bent down and I looked inside, but I did not crawl in.
So you can crawl physically inside the tent, flip around on your back, and you feel like you're actually in a tent, in a campsite.
Cool.
It's super cool, and that's a brief look at the gallery, and we're gonna embed a video in the post that explains the movement system because we have not enough time to go into how intricate and how well it works. But it's a super cool game and really shows off what an adventure game can be in VR.
Alex, come on, pick up. I figured it out. The pull on my half of the hex led me to the drop at Siren Point. Something weird is going on here, Alex. Look at your half. That is not how magnets work. Just grab Dad's disgusting adventure bag and let's go. You aren't gonna let your sweet, vulnerable sister go alone to the point, are you? I don't think so.